Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Fpl Yathu, our fantasy Premier League talk show, where we give you different tactics, tips on how to better a game in FPL, either your mini league or your team. I'm here with me, your boys, waiting is Sunday. And today, another episode as we prepare for Game Week 30. Um, Game Week 29, we didn't cover anything because the game week was during midweek, so we don't shoot during we don't shoot during like on Mondays. We usually shoot on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So now we're back with game week 30 news. So today we're going to talk about the players you should get going into game week 30. Despite that, we're also going to talk about the captains you should pick in game week 30. Despite from the captains you should pick in game week 30, we're also going to look at the team, a third and 11 team that's going to score you many points. But before I go on, we had the Champions League on Tuesday and Wednesday. I know we don't talk about Champions League here, but then both of these teams lost their games. Lost 1-0 to Galatasaray away, lost 5-2 to PSG, lost 5-2 to Atletico Madrid. I mean, now things like have gotten really tough in the Champions League. So we should expect the reason why I'm talking about the champs is that we should expect players to be rested. Okay. They're going to be rested because next week they have games again. So looking at teams like Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Liverpool, we should expect like some main players being rested, looking at the games that they're playing. And we know that this coming weekend we have Liverpool versus Spurs. So that's another big game again because these guys are fighting relegation whilst these guys are looking for the Champions League spot. So it's really going to be tough this weekend for these two big boys. Whilst Chelsea is playing against Aston Villa. I mean, yeah, Chelsea is playing against. I think Manchester United is playing against Aston Villa, whilst Chelsea is playing against Newcastle. And Newcastle is also a tough team. We already know what it did to Barcelona. It managed to hold them in a 1-1 draw. So we should also expect that Barcelona is going to keep some. I mean, Newcastle are going to try to save some players, whilst Chelsea is also going to try to save some players. So going into game week 30, um, this is the first team I'm going to touch. Going into game week 30, players that you should buy. The first players that I think you should buy is who's this? Tavernier. Tavernier for Bournemouth. He's going against Burnley, and we know Burnley right now is not in good form, and there's a high chance that they might be relegated. So Tavernier is my first pick. He's the man on penalties. He can make assists. He can also keep clean sheets. He's a midfielder. Defcon. So that's the guy. One guy you should keep in mind. Tavernier. Another player we can look at is João Pedro. He's one of the most transferred in players. He's in form. He's holding his last 4 games. So João Pedro is, I think, is a must-have, and we all know that he's going against Newcastle. So with the form that he's in, I believe that he's going to try to cause some trouble. Even though I have a feeling that maybe he might not play the full 90 minutes because of the PSG game on Tuesday. Nevertheless, we're going to look at Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United hasn't been good in the past game week, but Bruno Fernandes he's been giving me points. So he's one guy that you guys should have this guy going into game week 30 if you want to get um good points. Despite that, there's Antoine Semenyo. Antoine Semenyo has been good in the Premier League ever since they signed him, and he's going against West Ham United. And we know that West Ham United is in good form, but then their defense is also leaky against big sides. So I'm rooting for Antoine Semenyo to be transferred in. And a final player that I can give you maybe as a differential is Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson has two good upcoming games, even though he's what he's Harry Wilson's his thing is showing yellow that he might be benched, but I think he's fit now to play. And we can also get uh, Gibbs, Morgan Gibbs White from Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest have good fixtures, so these are some players you can get in game week 30. Okay. Um, Despite that, looking at the players that we can captain in game week 30, we have Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland, looking at his price, he can be a captain option, and he's going to be captain by many. Another option is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes in good form. You can captain him. We can also captain Mohamed Salah, who comes in as a differential, even though it's expensive, but you can captain him. Or you can captain Hugo Ekitike because they're going against Spurs, and we know how leaky their defense is. So those are the guys that you can captain going to game week 30. To move on, the team that I feel like you guys should pick in game week 30. Okay, I'm going to try to be very clever with the players that I'm going to pick in game week 30. So first of all, in goals, we have to be very, very clever in picking this team. In goals, I'm going to put either Verbruggen for Brighton. If not for Verbruggen, then I'll get David Raya. So in goals, I'm starting with David Raya, Verbruggen on bench. In defense, I'm going to play three defenders as usual. I'm going to play Gabriel, I'm going to play Virgil van Dijk, and uh, today I'm also going to play Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall has been performing well, so if he gets to start this game, I'm going to have Lewis Hall. On my bench, I'm going to put, talking of defenders who are going to be on the bench, I'm going to put two defenders on the bench. Senesi and the other defender, you can see which one can fit your budget, but I'm going to put Senesi on bench and Luis Ho inside. On my midfield, I'm playing Tavernier, I'm playing Bruno Fernandes, I'm playing Mohamed Salah, I'm playing Enzo Fernandez, and I'm playing Morgan Gibbs White. I'm going to play five midfielders this game week. So those are the guys that are going to be that I've trusted to play midfield, and I feel like they're going to score points. In strikes, the main man is going to be João Pedro. João Pedro is going to play with Hugo Ekitike, and on the other side, I'm going to play Igor Thiago. This time around, I'm not going to have Erling Haaland in my strikes because Erling Haaland hasn't been in form since game week 17. He hasn't given us a double digit, so I think it's time to let go of Erling Haaland. And we all know that he's going to blank in game week 31 since Newcastle failed to beat Man City in the FA Cup. So yeah, that's how my team is going to be. And if you are going to use this team, guys, or pick any players from this team, trust me, guys, you're going to benefit a lot. So moving on to players that you guys can look out for in game week 30. These are like special players to look out for. Okay. I'm just going to give you four players to look out for. I'm going to give you Mohamed Salah, a player to look out for in game week 30 because he might do something dangerous. Look out for Darren Bowen. He's going against Man City, and I feel like this guy is going to do something, something tricky, something else. We look at the Bournemouth Senesi. Might keep a clean sheet, might also score. Last week, dropped a nice performance. The last player that I'm going to tell you guys to look out for is Andre Santos. He's playing against Man City, and I feel like he's going to break that line because he was benched the whole game this midweek Champions League game for Chelsea. So these are the players that you guys should look out for. 4 players as a bonus that you guys should look out for in going in game week 30. So this weekend we have big fixtures. We have Chelsea versus Newcastle. We have Liverpool versus Tottenham Hotspur, a big fixture. We have Manchester United versus Aston Villa, a big fixture. And then we have Arsenal versus the Toffees, Everton, a big fixture. So stay tuned, guys. Get your transfers ready. The deadline is going to be soon. So get ready so that you don't miss that deadline. You're with me, your boy, Zoidin Zande. Thank you for being with us for this episode on FPO Yathu, our Fantasy Premier League talk show. See you in the other episode. And before I forget, we said we're going to mention the guy who won AirPods in our mini league. So I'm going to highlight his name. If you see your name, bro, DM us. We give you AirPods because that's what we agreed. In the group, we said this time around we won't announce it on the group, but we're going to say it in the podcast. So, bro, if you see your name down here, you've won AirPods. Yeah. So thank you very much. See you in the next episode.